We could all do with a loyal wingman, someone who watches our back, gives us advice when we need it, and in general provides us with a helping hand. But you know who really needs to have wingmen by their side? Well, fighter jet pilots. In their case, a wingman is defined as a pilot whose aircraft is positioned behind and outside the leading aircraft in a formation. This pilot will provide the leading aircraft with protection and support, will identify incoming threats, provide intelligence, and maintain communications with the command and control center. Now, one of the purposes of flying in formation is to ensure the safety of pilots, as well as avoiding the destruction of fighter jets worth tens of millions of dollars a pop. So, how about adding extra protection for the wingmen? Or even replacing them altogether with autonomous, unmanned combat aerial vehicles? Well, that's the concept behind today's megaproject, a drone capable of acting as a loyal wingman to crewed aircraft. This is the XQ-58 Valkyrie. The XQ-58 Valkyrie drone is the first model in a new class of high-performance, uncrewed aircraft which can be built quickly and relatively cheaply and will be deployed as escort or wingmen to fighter craft. This drone model was first released in 2019 by manufacturer Kratos Unmanned Aerial Systems, a division of Kratos Defense and Security Solutions. According to the company website, Kratos has been at the forefront of the development of reusable, attritable unmanned aerial systems for use in manned-unmanned teaming operations in a contested environment. End quote. The Valkyrie project was commissioned by the US Air Force Research Laboratory in late 2016 as part of their low-cost attritable aircraft technology project portfolio, or LCAT. LCAT has been established to address a complex conundrum: how to develop an affordable yet tactically relevant escort aircraft to stealth fighter jets. As the acronym states very clearly, the key terms here were low cost and attritable. The latter term may be simplistically dismissed as a synonym to expendable, but the Air Force actually has a specific definition for it. Quote, a new class of unmanned aircraft that are purpose-designed and routinely reusable, but built affordably to allow a combatant commander to tolerate putting them at risk. Kratos was able to deliver on those requirements, completing the project on time and on budget, something we rarely see here. Indeed, their XQ-58 was designed and built in a period of 2.5 years from the contract being awarded to the first flight on March 5th, 2019. Now, we're not privy to how the company achieved such a feat, but their official communications material states that they developed, quote, an attritable aircraft quickly and inexpensively by developing and using better design tools and maturing and leveraging commercial manufacturing processes to reduce build time and cost. The main purpose of the Valkyrie is to act as a loyal wingman, a concept which indicates an armed, uncrewed aircraft capable of autonomous operations thanks to AI control systems. A loyal wingman drone should be able to perform the same missions as a manned fighter jet, with the added bonus of being expendable. Thus, the XQ-58 has been designed to conduct operations independently, in cooperation with one or more fighter jets, or as part of a swarm. Quoting again from Kratos, combined with its affordability, survivability, long-range, high subsonic speeds, maneuverability, and ability to carry flexible mission kit configurations and a mix of lethal weapons, the XQ-58 provides extreme flexibility for the multiple Department of Defense customers that have it under contract today.
Alright, let's face it, how many of us have started a New Year's resolution with this is going to be the year that I build a habit around learning? And then, well, we end up doom scrolling on TikTok because, of course we do, it's TikTok. It's basically like crack. But that ends today with today's sponsor, Imprint. You can use it to actually add something valuable to your life rather than the endless doom scrolling. Now, this isn't your run-of-the-mill learning app. Imprint takes knowledge, big brainy concepts like psychology, philosophy, and even the science of happiness and makes it visual, interactive, and honestly fun. Think beautifully illustrated courses, bite-sized lessons, and insights you'll actually remember. One course that I've been diving into is all about interpersonal dynamics, essentially the psychology of human relationships. Turns out, understanding why people do what they do isn't just fascinating, it's useful. Whether it's navigating tricky conversations or just being a better listener, these lessons help you learn something new in just a few minutes a day. But it's not just about relationships. Want to boost productivity, decode finance, or understand the science of happiness? Imprint has courses for that too. And it's all designed based on the science of learning, so you're not memorizing concepts, you're learning how to think from first principles. Ready to start your own learning habit for 2025? Here's the deal. You can try Imprint for free for 7 days and get 20% off an annual membership. Just head to imprintapp.com/megaproject to get started. It's time to make your screen time count. Big thanks to Imprint for sponsoring today's episode, and now back to it.
Okay, it's now time for you to follow us into the showroom so we can talk about the specs of this very, very bad boy. It may have been conceived as an affordable, even disposable craft, but it looks anything but cheap. It features a highly aerodynamic design with a partially flattened trapezoidal fuselage, sharply swept wings, and it's V-shaped. The Valkyrie measures 30 feet in length, or for our non-American friends, about 9.1 meters. If you don't have a tape measure handy, you can visualize the craft's length by imagining two Volkswagen Beetles parked bumper to bumper. The wingspan is much shorter, at about 27 feet or 8.2 meters. The dry weight of this drone is a nimble 2,500 pounds or 1,134 kilos, which is the same weight as a Honda Civic. But once fueled and stocked with its payload, the XQ-58 can reach its maximum launch weight of 6,000 pounds or 2,721 kilos. This mass is propelled by a turbofan engine with a 2,000 pound thrust, that's 8,900 kilonewtons, which will allow the Valkyrie to reach a respectably high subsonic speed of Mach 0.85. These drones will be able to fly as low as 50 feet and as high as 45,000, while reaching a maximum range of 3,000 nautical miles, which is about 1 1/4 times the distance from Los Angeles to New York. As mentioned earlier, the XQ-58 drone boasts an AI-enabled control system which allows it to operate completely independently. The Valkyrie may also follow a set of pre-programmed instructions or be controlled remotely by a human drone operator. An XQ-58 may fly as the only wingman to a fighter jet, be part of a flight of 4 to 6 drones, or even join a larger swarm. In most scenarios, the Valkyrie's actions will be controlled or monitored by a parent aircraft. The Valkyrie is also notable for being entirely runway independent, at least in its basic model, more on that later. This means that the XQ-58 can take to the air by using a static launcher and expendable rocket boosters. When it's time to land, the Valkyrie will deploy a parachute and gently float to the ground. Now, the obvious pro is that the Valkyrie could take off and land virtually anywhere, but there are also some cons. First of all, you would still need a dedicated static launcher handy, and second, this takeoff method imposes limits on the maximum weight, thus reducing fuel and payload capacity. Speaking of payloads, Kratos and its clients have not fully disclosed yet what type of payload and weapons will be carried by the Valkyrie, but during a test flight, the XQ-38 has been observed as being equipped with AIM-120 advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles under its wings. These missiles have been used since September 1991, proving to be reliable and relatively cost-effective, with a price tag of $386,000 each. On occasion of another test, Valkyrie has successfully released an Altius 600 from its internal bay. And, well, what's that, you might be asking? Well, actually, it's another, smaller drone. It weighs up to 27 pounds or 12 kilos and carries video cameras, intelligence systems, or even a kinetic warhead. All in all, this small beauty promises to be a perfect, loyal wingman. It can cover your back while you soar over enemy territory. It will fire missiles against hostile craft and even deploy its own little buddy to collect intelligence. And to top it all off, the XQ-58 is also damn cheap. Contractor Kratos has stated that the price range for a Valkyrie is between $4 to $6 million, depending on the variant. But as economies of scale set in, the price could be cut down to $2 million. And you might be thinking, well, that's a lot. But consider that the average cost of an F-35A fighter jet, one of the most commonly used by the US Armed Forces, is $82 million, which means for the same cost of one fighter jet plane, the military can get 41 Valkyrie drones. In March 2024, Kratos CEO Eric DeMarco revealed that 5 variants of their drone were in the production or development stages. These models will be creatively named A, B, C, and, would you believe it, D. Mr. DeMarco did not specify the name of the 5th variant, but we're going to take a wild and entirely speculative guess here and say that it's going to be called E. The CEO also stated that the C and D types would be, quote, far more capable aircraft as compared to their predecessors A and B. At the time, Kratos did not reveal what made each variant unique, although later developments showed that the company was looking to differentiate takeoff and landing approaches. In July 2024, Kratos tested a new launch trolley system, which allows the XQ-58 to take off from traditional runways. The trolley will assist the drone gaining speed down the runway until it's time to take to the skies. At that point, the drone will separate from the trolley for takeoff, while the wheels contraption will decelerate safely with the help of drogue chutes. The Valkyrie would still need to land with help of a parachute, but a trolley-assisted variant may be larger than the original model. According to Kratos, the assisted takeoff method would allow their drone to carry 10% more fuel and payload equipment, thus improving its operational capabilities. Just a month later in August, Kratos announced that they would soon be introducing a new variant with traditional built-in landing gear. Eric DeMarco stated, quote, "Very soon we're going to have a Valkyrie with its own internal gear, which will also have internal weapons," end quote. Even if it's not explicitly stated, the addition of landing gear implies that the new variant may be larger, heavier, and more capable than the original. As mentioned earlier, the main purpose of the XQ-58 is to act as a loyal wingman to fighter jets. One or more Valkyries controlled by their parent aircraft will conduct scouting missions, lay out defensive fire, or even absorb enemy attacks, thus sacrificing themselves for their human friends. As of 2024, the Kratos drones have been ordered by the US Air Force and the Marine Corps, the latter of which are very interested as the Valkyrie's specs and capabilities fit very well into their PAC-P program, which stands for Penetrating Affordable Autonomous Collaborative Killer Portfolio. A mouthful. It matches the XQ-58, as it is certainly affordable and well-equipped to penetrate enemy defenses. Besides that, the Valkyrie has another key feature, which has enticed the Marine Corps. Their basic model is runway independent. You see, the Corps has been working on scenarios involving a potential future war against a large power in the Pacific, so they mean China. This scenario will require US forces to perform some serious island hopping, the same strategy applied against the Japanese Empire in World War II. Many Pacific islands are tiny, and thus the Marines could do with aircraft which do not require a traditional long runway for takeoff and landing. Hence their preference for the F-35B fighter jet, an F-35 variant capable of taking off from a short runway and landing vertically. And what better wingman for the F-35Bs than the Valkyries? In addition to the uses already mentioned, the Marine Corps was interested in using the Valkyries as electronic warfare platforms. XQ-58s may deploy jamming signals, for example, or even create false electronic duplicates of their parent aircraft to confuse enemy radar. This capability was tested in April 2024 when an XQ-58 conducted a successful test flight alongside two F-35s while carrying an Advanced Electronic Attack Payload, or EA. According to a Kratos press release, the XQ-58A's advanced EA payload autonomously detected, identified, and geolocated multiple tactically relevant targets of interest, transmitted emitter-target track coordinates to collaborative assets, and successfully presented non-kinetic electronic attack efforts against multiple emitters. On September 20th, 2024, the Marine Corps completed another test flight with the Valkyrie and F-35s at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. This time, the star of the show was the Link 16, the standard system used by the US and NATO to communicate real-time tactical data, both air-to-air and air-to-surface. The aim of the Eglin sortie was to ensure that Link 16 could be integrated with the XQ-58 so that it could relay tactical data back to its parent craft, but also receive remote instructions and commands. On September the 26th, the US Marine Corps shared the positive results of their test. Quote, "The test demonstrated newly added Link 16 capabilities for the uncrewed collaborative combat aircraft prototype, marking the first time the Department of Defense controlled an air vehicle using off-board expeditionary methods." End quote. The September success was followed by more tests in October, a series of exercises named Emerald Flag 2024. In this case, the Marine Corps wanted to use the XQ-38 to demonstrate, quote, "cooperative kill chain closure." To clarify, the kill chain is a standard process used by air forces to engage and destroy targets with missiles or bombs. This chain includes 6 steps. First, find the target. Second, fix it, i.e. confirm that it is indeed the desired target to be engaged with weapons. Third, track the target in a continuous fashion. Fourth and fifth, target and engage. These steps refer to assigning the target when it's time to engage, as in based on the specific features of the target, determine who and how it will be engaged. And the 6th and final step, assess. Basically, is the target taken care of? During Emerald Flag, the XQ-58 Valkyrie proved to be a truly loyal and valuable wingman by addressing steps 1 to 3 and 6 of the kill chain. A single drone, flying alongside 4 F-35Bs, was able to correctly provide forward threat targeting data to the fighters. As per the official press release, quote, "The XQ-58A effectively demonstrated its capabilities as a forward-deployed sensing platform, providing critical threat targeting data to the Marine Corps' 5th-generation aircraft." So, as of producing this video, the XQ-58 Valkyrie has yet to see action beyond test flights and exercises. These experiences, however, have proved largely positive, and the Kratos drone seems to fulfill the strategic and tactical requirements of the US Air Force and Marine Corps. Moreover, if the manufacturer is able to deliver on the promise of lowering the price tag to $2 million, then we are due to see more and more autonomous, loyal wingmen taken to the skies. Besides the specific make and model of the wingman, this concept is likely to shape aerial doctrine over the next decades. As stated by US Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall in November 2022, future air combat will be dominated by next-generation fighter jets, supported by a flight of up to 5 unmanned combat aerial vehicles, or UCAVs, in charge of gathering intelligence, attacking enemy defenses, or even refueling the parent aircraft mid-flight. This trend will apply not only to the US, but to other nations, both friendly or, shall we say, less friendly to Washington. We've already covered the Russian Grom in a previous video, and in the future, we may cover another loyal wingman, such as Australia's MQ-28 Ghostbat, Turkey's Bayraktar Kızılelma, and India's own unmanned combat system known as CATS, or Combat Air Teaming System. But the drone that may be more of a concern to the US Armed Forces, and the Marines in particular, is China's FH-97. Clearly, there is no intention of going to war with Beijing at this moment, and we sincerely hope that such a conflict will remain only a war game scenario. But the XQ-58 did appeal to the Marine Corps due to its island-hopping capabilities, and the People's Liberation Army Air Force appears to be investing in a craft that is very, very similar to the Valkyrie. The FH-97 is still a prototype, but it was first unveiled as a mock-up at the Zhuhai Air Show in September 2021, and based on that prototype, it was clear that the FH-97 was almost identical to the XQ-58. Its manufacturer, the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, or CASAC, looked as though they had copied Kratos' homework with enough small changes to ensure they avoided detention. Based on his appearances and some early promotional material, it seems that CASAC intended for their drone to fulfill the same role as the Valkyrie, with a stress on reconnaissance and attack roles. The FH-97's weapons bay can, in fact, accommodate 8 air-to-air missiles, and it may be used to release a smaller drone, much like the Valkyrie with Altius. So, is the Chinese military simply embracing a worldwide trend to provide their fighter pilots with artificially intelligent, affordable, attritable, and loyal escorts, or are they specifically preparing for a war of aerial attrition against an island-hopping US military? The answer could be all of the above, but should the second option become a reality, we can only hope that Secretary Kendall's predictions are taken to the extreme and future aerial warfare is conducted by entirely automated unmanned craft with no loss of life. We're sure that the real human wingman won't mind.